When I was at a party once, a friend of a friend walked up to me and asked if I wanted to do some arm wrestling. Sounds a bit weird to do at a party, but as an introvert, having something to do at a party is a dub, so I agreed. When I got a look at his arm, it didn't have any crazy muscles or anything. I didn't think that I was for sure going to win, but I thought I might have a good chance. I thought to myself, I work out my forearms all the time, dude. I should be fine. Me thinking this like an absolute fool when I look back on it, because when the match started, it was like I was arm wrestling a titan. It felt almost as if his bones were dense. This guy was strong. I don't know if this was the case of someone who looks very normal just having a freakish amount of strength or just had really good technique, but either way, I was losing. I knew at this point I wasn't winning, but I figured I could hold on for dear life and at least tire him out so I wouldn't lose. That is until he looked at me like an anime character about to use their ultimate move. He started doing a curl motion with his wrists and literally wore down my wrists enough to where I lost the strength to hold on. I'm not exactly a huge arm wrestling dude, so maybe this is a common move, but in general, I have never thought about using my wrists in that sort of way. Like sure, I've done my fair share of wrist curls, but I've never really focused on them that much. This is when I learned just how important each part of the hand is when it comes to building a strong hand. This is when I learned for myself that I was neglecting my wrists way too much and that I need to work on them more, as well as other parts of my hand that I might have been neglecting. Since then, I've dived deeper in finding ways to strengthen every part of my hands. Hey guys, my name is Dran, and no, I don't have a problem. Grip strength has a problem with me. I can't stop buying random grip strength products on the market, so today, I have even more things to show you. So fun, yum yum yum, I'm a caveman. By this point, you guys already know my goals and aspirations with building strong hands, and if you don't, for whatever reason, you can check out these two videos I made. That goal has turned into a fun hobby over the years, which is starting to look like an obsession. But I promise you it's still better than gambling, so let's jump right in. First up, we've got the iron block. Yeah, it's a block. What do you do with it? Well, you attach it to weight and pick it up. That's pretty much it. What, you thought there was more to this? That's grip strength, buddy. Hell yeah. In grip strength, there's something called holds. Holds are essentially iron or wooden shapes that you find a grip on, and with a tight enough grip, you lift it off of the ground with weight, of course. There's loads of different ones out there, but it seems like the block shape is the most popular, which is what we're reviewing today. Some people see this as a real test of one's grip strength, so much so people compete and try to set records for how much they can lift with this hold in particular. Training with this is definitely going to give you some good results, because this is hard, and or will test your grip strength if that's what you want. I've had fun training with it, but unlike many other grip strength stuff I've bought, you seriously need chalk for this. Not only is it hard enough to warrant that, but I can't explain how good and strong you feel after putting on chalk. All my workout bros know the crazy strength boost you feel from having chalk rubbed in between every crease of your hands. But in case you don't, let me explain. Chalk basically dries your hand to prevent any kind of slippage, wetness, or sweat, and in turn, you get balls to the wall, dry grip. It's akin to when you can't open a jar and have to use a paper towel over the lid to pop it open. More often than not, I feel like I've drunk a potion of strength from Minecraft when I use chalk, but most grip strength stuff I use doesn't really need it, at least from my experience. Like, if I was to go for a personal record, I would not skimp on the chalk. But the average grip strength session when I'm in my little workout den is not needed. Not to mention this shit gets everywhere, but the block grip is one of the few that really benefits from it, and in my opinion is pretty much required to get a good lift from. So what am I saying? Chalk is epic, and chalk with block is super epic. The block is great actually. Being able to have something to PR with and keep going from there is very fun. 9 out of 10, super epic. Say, you like rock climbing but can't go to a gym because they're all 50 miles away or don't exist? Then you bring the climbing to your home, or so I thought. This thing is meant to train your hands for rock climbing, and it's so nice and pocket-sized that I thought maybe this thing is pretty sick actually. I got it, and the disappointment was immeasurable and my day was ruined. No, just kidding, it wasn't that bad. But it was definitely not as good as I expected. Like, maybe this is for a seasoned rock climber who can comfortably grip a crimp hold and not have it feel painful, but that's pretty much the case with this for me. As an average grip strength dude, it hurts to use. But if you're the type that loves the crimp holds at rock climbing gyms and can comfortably hold them, then this would be for you. Let me explain what exactly about it makes my hands hurt though. The actual hold position to hang off of this feels uncomfortable and honestly hurts after a while of doing it. I'm not really one to complain if it hurts using a grip strength product, but it does strain in a not satisfying way, if that makes sense. Like, I've used fingerboards before, and those feel much more comfortable while also providing a challenge in comparison to this, where it's just painful, it's not very fun, it's uncomfortable. The core issue is that using it feels awkward. I'm not huge on rock climbing, but it occurred to me afterwards something like this would have been better. Which, spoiler alert, this is gonna be in the next one. Now, as an extra tidbit, it can technically work as a hold, but it's got this little rope attached to it, so honestly, I just didn't feel it was worth undoing and tying up again, and then undoing it again when I realized that there's a better hold to use. You know, hot take, I prefer a clip as opposed to a rope, so, yeah. Sorry, not a big fan of this one. 4 out of 10. We've got something super cool here. It might actually be better than the Captains of Crush grippers. Behold the GD Iron Grip. This gripper is like an adjustable dumbbell, but like an actually good one, and you know, not those ones where you have to undo them and put them back together like Lego pieces. This is probably the most innovative gripper I've ever seen. Guys, it even has a way for you to work out your thumbs. That's actually crazy. So let's start. What exactly is so innovative about this? Well, for one, you can adjust the difficulty. But hey, no biggie. Most cheap grippers have that, except for the fact that the way you change it on this gripper is much more functional and easy. As a direct comparison, this one has you spin a wheel, except it is quite simply vague on where exactly you're at with this. Now let's take a look at the GD Iron Grip. You've got a little switch at the top here that, when pushed all the way down, unhinges the spring, allowing you to choose what level you want, with the levels telling you exactly what the weight is both in pounds and kilograms. Now this is a major plus for my audience of 1.5% within the UK. Guys, you are winning. Second, you can actually adjust the width of the handles. Now, I'm not too sure about how important this is, but in case you have smaller hands or bigger hands, you can adjust it to your hands, which is just really cool. Then, of course, it has the attachment for the thumbs. You know I gotta mention that. That's just so cool. I'm a thumb bro. I gotta peep it. I didn't buy the attachment as I already have a hunk of metal for it, but if I didn't have that, I would get this for sure. The build quality is also nothing to snuff at. It is heavy and firm. Nothing about this feels cheap, and it's honestly really nice to look at. Not sure what else to say other than this is my main gripper from now on. 10 out of 10! Here we are, another ball-shaped product. At this point, you might assume I like the shape of balls, from how many products I've bought that are the shape of balls, and you would be half correct. I actually prefer spike balls.
Okay, get the fuck out!
But anyway, so like the wooden block from earlier, this is essentially the same, except it's just a ball. You can either lift weight off of it or use it to do pull-ups. More shapes to put my fingies on, the better. So using this as a pull-up grip was fine for my right hand, but painful for my left. It felt like it was really digging into my palm or the area before my index finger. Pretty unpleasant. But it didn't feel awkward. In fact, it felt just fine after a few days of using it as a pull-up grip. However, I don't really see a reason to use this as a pull-up grip when something like a rope or towel exists. On top of that, it doesn't mimic a rock climbing hold intensity either, so I'm just struggling to see a good reason to use it for a pull-up. Like, it's difficult, sure, but is it really building on anything? I don't think so. I could be totally wrong, but that's just how I felt about it. I simply just feel like there's better options for pull-up grips that would improve upon your grip strength. Like, a rope is definitely superior in every way in that regard, but unfortunately I don't live in a 90s gymnasium with that rope that hangs off the ceiling. If I ever get a place with a tall ceiling, I'm installing that. Like, I think that'd be super funny. And also a great workout. Moving on. It's extremely good as a hold though. I can feel it activating more parts of my forearm that I previously was unaware of, probably because of how your fingers are wrapping around this unique shape. I've been picking it up and holding it for a good amount of time every now and then, and it feels good. Now, at first I was like, this isn't really working my fingers as much as I thought it would. So then I upped the weight, and then I was like, oh shit! It got difficult real fast, and I felt the strain on my fingers quickly. And also, I started seeing bumps on my forearm. I feel bumps, like muscly bumps. like right there. I felt my fingers getting worked and my forearm using muscles I've not worked directly before. Except for my pinky finger, that shit felt like it wasn't even helping out. Like, bro, what are you doing? You think this is a game? No, you're part of the squad, you have to help. This is another hold that I would recommend for people to use, cause it just feels like your whole hand is getting worked alongside your forearm. Overall, this was a really interesting experience, and I think I'm gonna keep using it. Muscle bumps out of 10! So lately, I've been looking into channels like Devin and Roger, and I've seen that they really preach about this one exercise focusing on hitting the pronator muscle on the forearm. It looks like you could also hit the wrist and get some thumb action in it as well. Hell yeah, bonus point for that one. I got really curious as well because it's something that they do every single day, and no reps are counted, they just keep going and going and going, pumping out a crazy amount of reps without counting. And you can do forearm stuff every single day because the forearms will heal quickly once they're conditioned enough. So I got to thinking that I might as well try this, as it's another neglected part of my forearm that I don't usually focus on. For many nights in a row, I've just been busting out reps of this exercise with this strap, and with some rest days in between, they became conditioned and progressively loaded more weight. And the results? Yeah, it works, I guess. My wrists don't feel bulletproof, and my thumb, womp womp, didn't gain much from it. Rather, it developed my pronator, which is hard to test considering I don't do arm wrestling, which is what this exercise helps with. So I thought to myself, So I went out and I bought this piece of junk. So I gotta say, this is probably the cheapest way to practice arm wrestling, as I've used those fancy arm wrestling tables where you pull on a cable from a machine. And this thing, by comparison, it's a load of shit, for sure. When it came in the mail, it was covered in dust, almost like nobody buys this thing. But truth be told, I have always been interested in this thing and wondered how effective it is, actually. And after using it, this thing is kind of ass, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can use it, but it somehow feels like it was made for Michael Phelps. My arms are not long enough to rest my elbow on the table while comfortably resting my hand on the grip hold. But it's fine, we are flying elbow gamers. We can manage, right? I busted out some reps and it just felt awkward. Like I could bend it, but that wrist action you would get from arm wrestling is not there. So I almost felt like I couldn't even test out my pronation strength. Rather, I felt like a gorilla pushing down on a spring over and over again. And funnily enough, I felt less of a strain in my forearm, more so somewhere else on my arm. I don't even know where I felt it, I just knew I felt it. You may not be surprised from how not good this is as a tool to test your pronation strength, or rather just arm wrestling practice overall. But I had to know. I'm the grip strength guy, I buy random grip strength products, so you don't have to, and that's about it. Vine boom sound effect out of 10. So overall, our grip strength haul this time around was decent. Some stinkers, but also some products I'm adding to the grip strength library forever. There's some more grip strength products that I'm especially curious about on if they really are all that, but oddly enough, they're expensive, so that's gonna have to wait. If you liked watching me grip onto random things, then like, comment, and subscribe! Thank you, Thumb Brothers, and until then, grip on!